Ride through the city like Brennan Schaub. I'm on a mission to get it all. Ride through the city like Brennan Schaub. If you ain't thick, please don't get involved.
And now, Brandon Thick Boy Schaub.
Yo, Sunday. Hope you guys had a great 4th of July. We're going to get right into the fan questions. If you're curious how to get your questions answered, obviously the live chat's the best way. Become a member of the Big Brown Breakdown Club. I do a live chat every Tuesday and Friday where I answer everybody's questions who's a member. But if not, if you're curious how to get a question answered on Sunday's show, just submit your question in the comment section right now on YouTube. Put fan questions. Nick Chen sees it. I answer it. Let's hit it. At Brian, fan question. Last time Conor came back against Dustin Poirier, he took a year and a half off and didn't even know about calf kicks and lost because of it. This time he's been off for 5 years. Are there any developments in the game that he's missed out on that would be relevant in the fight? No, especially when it comes to Max Holloway, right? Like Max is cut from kind of the same cloth where you know exactly what you're going to get with Max. You know, at Max's age, he's not throwing any wrinkles. He's not doing anything special. Like we know what you're signing up for when you fight Max Holloway. So I think that's actually a benefit to Conor being out of the game so long is you know exactly who you're getting in Max Holloway. And that's a good thing. If you're a Conor fan, that's a good thing. There's going to be no surprises. It's not like he's fighting fucking Hoofy or something like that. Where you're like, dude, I don't know what the hell he's going to do. You're Max Holloway. You know what you're getting? Great boxing, great chin, good movement, great footwork. Probably not going to the ground, right? So what else you got, Jen? Big Mac. Fan question, just curious, if I'm the only one who isn't as high on Hokit and doesn't see him as a champ material, his fight with Blades was more of an ugly bar fight than high-level technique. He didn't really blow the roof off against Derek Lewis, who hasn't cared for a long time. Just curious because you've said yourself that pure athleticism will only take you so far, and you'll struggle against world-class talent without real technique. I just don't see him beating Tom, Gon, Volkov, Sergey, and Alex with his style and being undersized, but it seems like everyone else, including you, are super high on him. Am I just out of my mind here? No, you're not. There's still a lot of unanswered questions when it comes to Hokit. The Derek Lewis fight, I wasn't crazy about. He didn't look his best in that fight, but I disagree on the Curtis Blades fight. That one wasn't just a sloppy brawl. There were some good things in that fight. At times, yes, it was a brawl back and forth, slugfest. But yeah, against Tom, Gon, Volkov, Sergey, Alex, that's a different animal. So I'm with you. I think, things he has going for him is his hand speed. The things you would look at are his hand speed. His cardio looks really good. His footwork at times has looked good. But we know the Division I wrestling skills are there. We haven't seen a lot of it. So you're hoping that he uses some of that, especially as he faces tougher competition. But no, you're not out of your mind, dude. I can easily see that. Easily see what you're saying. But yeah, there's a lot of unanswered questions with Hokit. Luke, AR007. Fan question. Hey, man, could you describe a perfect 8-week training camp, especially some new young pro fighters? How many times per week? Strength condition, how many times per week? Jiu-Jitsu, regular classes, Muay Thai, how many times per week? Big glove sparring, MMA glove sparring. How often in camp? Hard sparring, almost like a fight level? Let's start with the top, Jen. So my question would be, if these are young fighters, and let's say you get a camp, if you're a young fighter, so let's say you have 2 or 3 fights, 8 week is too long at that level. You're not at the UFC level where you need to be doing these strict 8-week camps, preparing for a certain type of style when you're a young pro fighter. If you're a young fighter, you should be training 5-6 days a week, no matter what. And then when you have a fight coming up, especially when you're 1, 2, 3 fights into the fight game, you should just increase things and find a little bit out about your opponent and then maybe tailor some of this training towards that. But you shouldn't be doing 8-week camps like you're Max Holloway or Justin Gaethje. You're not there yet. You should be working on all skills and focusing on what works for you and condition, stuff like that. Now, the big one is how many times per week are you sparring? This is where it gets weird. So it depends who you talk to. I'm cut from the cloth where you kind of gotta see what you got, meaning that big love sparring is important, going hard is important, really important, especially when you're young. And then as you get more savvy to it and you can fight and it's just a timing thing, you back off on that. But when you're young, you should be sparring pretty hard. I truly believe that. See if it's for you, hopefully that helps. But as far as these young guys, you shouldn't be doing like a 8-10 week camp. You should be training consistently and constantly building all your skills, and then increasing your cardio like a week or two out, and then taking fights and beating these guys. But really, you're not focused on your opponent when you're young. You're focused on building your skills and getting experience in there. I am Bobby Wasabi. Fan question. Could you put more Abbott Kenny Fight Club shirts up on the store? They make great gym shirts. We need to do something. I agree, brother. You got some big brown ones coming. Don't worry. I'm on it. We need to find a good distributor. That's the problem. At Clayton R 8067. Fan question. You're still looking massive for that cheer, but it's fetch. Top 3 most dangerous fighters of all time in round 1. Ooh, Conor McGregor. Round 1. Conor's up there. Rumble Johnson. Vanderlei Silva. But round 1, shit. Terence McKinney. Look at his track record. That first round's a nightmare for you. Yeah, Vitor Belfort back in the day, for sure, that first round. But Conor's up there, man, as far as being super dangerous in that first round. Derek Lewis, especially when he's in his prime, that first round's a fucking nightmare to get through. Some of those cats. Francis, he's up there. What else you got, Jin?
By the way, for us older folk, fetch means cool, stylish, or awesome.
Oh, hell yeah. Thanks, Clayton. At Maverick. Fan question. Can you talk about the size and weight factors that play into the Max-Conor fight? I know Conor was big, not sure how big, and Max is coming up for this one, but should be expected both to be slower. What are your thoughts on both being at new weights? Feels like we're damn near seeing two fighters you've never seen before to an extent. Yeah, agree, brother. Now, this is a good point. Your wording's a little jumbled up there, but all good, dude. I suck at this too. It's a good point because we don't know what Conor's going to look like. And then also Max is, he's been competing at 55 and he's coming up to 70, but he has had a 6-month heads up to get there. But he doesn't look like he put on the weight the right way. But now Conor, right, took himself out of the testing pool, got on the good, got all healthy, got big, lean, and knew he was coming back at 70. So he's actually had an advantage, being able to get big and strong and healthy and fix his knee and his shin and his leg and his joints. And he's probably raring to go, and was downsizing to 70. So I think I would give the advantage significantly to Conor here when it comes to size and fighting at 170. For Max, he doesn't look great at 70. Now, it could just be maybe that one picture and who knows what he's dealing with. But I agree 1,000% with you. We're seeing two fighters we've never seen before. We know how they fight. We know what we've seen in the past at 45 and 55, and we've seen Conor at 70 before, right? But I agree, man. There's a lot of variables going on to this weekend's fights, this Saturday's fights. There's a lot. That's why it's going to be tough to bet on. James Hatridge, fan question. What do you see next for Max if he beats Conor? Dominant fashion. Max bounces back from losses very well and can dog it out like he did with Yair if he needs to. Yeah, Max is in a weird spot, right? Because let's say he highlight reel knocks out Conor. He's this huge name. Is Justin going, all right, that's the fight that'll get me up and I'll put my belt on the line. We can do that rematch. Does that do it? Or, where Max is at in his career, does he fancy himself a 170? I don't think so. Does he challenge Islam? That'd be a nightmare for him. Does the UFC use him as a launching board for these guys coming up, like Yair Rodriguez at 55, Dio Lopez at 55? Do they do Max versus Patty if Patty gets a big win? What do they do? The point is, there's a lot of options for both gentlemen if they win. A lot of options. Loitering Prince, fan question. What do you consider to be fuck you money for UFC fighters per fight? 5 million? $10 million. 10 million. And fuck you money is all relative, right? So fuck you. 10 million is not fuck you money for Conor McGregor because his ceiling's so much higher. And I'm sure his monthly nut and obligations are so much higher because he's been famous and made so much money for so long that 10 million doesn't really change his life. For other guys, 10 million would be fuck you because remember, 10% of that's going to this agent, 10% of the manager, taxes, 10 million. In this day and age, 10 million. Depending how they live. Patrick Smith, 2257. Fan question. Do you see the world where Justin wants to see the winner of Islam and Gary and challenges go up to 170, be a two-division champ, and then retire? I know 55 is a tough cut for him. I don't think he wants to fancy his chance against Islam. I would be willing to bet if Ian Gary wins, we see some guys start barking. What else you got, Jen? Lewis Cipher. Fan question. Is there any other sport where the majority of the fan base doesn't know anything about that they're watching? By casual fan, I mean someone who doesn't train, therefore doesn't fully understand what's happening in the fight. Does this lack of understanding contribute to the bias among fans and disrespect shown towards fighters? Absolutely. But I don't think this is unique to the UFC or MMA. Right? Like, I'm high on soccer right now because it's World Cup. Buddy, some of the shit I hear, I watch with my family, some of the shit they say bothers me. And I don't know the answers, but even I'm like, when they miss a penalty kick, my father, I'm like, come on, man, it's right there. I'm all, hey, man, you've never kicked a soccer ball in your life. Or when they're like offsides, it's like, that's not offsides. I'm like, yo, you've been watching soccer as long as me, dude. We've been into this for a week now. You don't know shit. So I don't think it's unique to UFC at all. I would say the majority of people, maybe soccer gets so worldwide known and stuff like that, but especially in America, like, okay, buddy, take it easy, But I think overall that's the lack of understanding that why there's so much hate in MMA, and then also the betting. People lose money on these guys, so the disrespect is increased, and social media. But great point, brother. Dio, fan question. Can you please use your platform to promote special rules match like DJ Rodtang? They did that in one championship. Keep putting this idea in Joe Rogan and Dana White's head so they make it happen. Brother, I wish I had that power. I'm tired of boxers like Paulie Malignaggi and the boxing community thinking they're alphas over MMA fighters. They know they're not. It just gets clicks. They act like in a real fight they'll whoop MMA fighter asses. Not a chance. The disrespect has gotten out of hand, and Dana White acts like he doesn't know how to fix this boxing versus MMA beef. Here's the thing, buddy. The reason I can see is boxers will never risk their reputations and jump into the UFC at a high level. Never. Because they get eaten alive, man. And this is it. I love boxing, but they would get annihilated. It's simple. Special rules match, first round boxing rules, second round MMA rules. Yeah. And Conor and his team proposed this to Terence Crawford. And even though Terence Crawford like, that never happened, it did happen. Now, did they offer you $200 million? I don't know. That's nor here nor there. But even he was like, I'm not getting kicked by Conor. Anthony Joshua said he's willing to try MMA. No, he's not. He makes too much money. This dude says, y'all got to start being smart and negotiate better terms if y'all want to win. Stop getting knocked out in boxing just for money. It looks so bad. Let's end this war. It's really not a war. There's no war. It's one-sided. Because boxing set up where famous MMA fighters who are over the hill can make money boxing, they go that route, and it's easier than getting beat up and not getting paid as much in MMA. But it's not the other way around. Even if boxers were offered tons of money, they're not going to get embarrassed by MMA guys. Like a mid-level MMA guy, a low-level MMA guy at a professional level is going to destroy a high-level boxer. It's just a different set of rules, a different game. That's what it is. And then these famous boxers have so much money because of the boxing business blueprint that they don't have to do it. But there's no war, my man. Daytheo11. Fan question, two-part question. With the limited amount of footage of Conor we have seen sparring, how do you think he looks? Is he speaking clear, which is amazing? Agree. He looks the best we've seen in a long freaking time. Second part, what are Conor's avenues for winning this fight in detail? What setups and what game plan? Love the show from Ireland. I'll be completely honest. I'm rooting for Conor. I think he can get it done. The avenues for winning is pretty simple, man. It's pretty simple. It's going to be the classic Conor striking and using his elusiveness and his power and his timing, and also cutting off the cage. Like Max does have very good footwork. You know, it's evident against Volkanovski, against Justin Gaethje. He's beating the brakes off Justin Gaethje. The Justin Gaethje fight, we remember him getting knocked out at the very last second of the round, but that fight was a clinic. That fight wasn't close. So Conor can't let Max get his timing and establish his jab and sit on the outside and do work. Conor needs to be aggressive and use his counter punching and use his power. And I hope it's there. It seems like it is. It seems like it is. But Conor's avenues for winning, I'd be very, very surprised. And I know some people are saying this where, well, man, Conor might use his grappling. Look how bad Max grappling looks against Charles Oliveira. It's like, if you know Conor, it's really not his thing. It's not. Even at this stage of the game, I don't think he would do that. So Conor's going to win off his second to none timing and counter punching and being first. At LJRD111. Jem, Brisbane, Australia. What do you make of this Eddie Hearn and Dana beef? I think it's all fake. Do you think it's all publicity? 1,000% to get traction for Dana in the boxing world. Apparently, they are meeting this week to kiss and make up. They've never been at each other's necks. Assuming this happened, what role, if any, do you think Dana will have in the promoting the Tyson Fury and AJ fight? Seems like he isn't in the current contract, and Dana and Turkey are trying to change this. Thanks for the entertainment over the years. You got it, brother. I think they're all going to do what's best for all of them and to make this fight as big as possible, and that involves having Dana part of it. He'll be part of it in some form or another. They're all the rich elite that control the fighters, and they're all in this together. All of it's fake. Eddie Bucktails, fan question. What is Max doing going to 170? He's smaller even for 55. It's the red panty night. When they say, hey, you got the Conor fight, he's going, I'm in. Whoa, hold on. We didn't even tell you what weight class. I don't care. I'm in. You know? So I think that's what Max is doing. Jordan Parks, fan question. With the UFC now doing BJJ opens, do you ever see a world where they do gi events? As a gi guy, I'd love to see it, but not sure the audience is there. And with the exclusive contracts, I can't see the top guys going away from IBJJF events. Agree. I'm also a gi guy. I think jiu-jitsu should be done in a gi, especially when it comes to getting your black belt and stuff. You should definitely be in a gi. Yeah, I don't see it translating like you said, brother. I don't think the audience is there for a gi, unfortunately. And I don't think it ever will be there. And the top guys aren't going to go away, to your point, the IBJJF events. They just won't.
Why do you feel so strongly about the gi?
Jiu-jitsu is supposed to be in a gi. It just is. You know, like the real jiu-jitsu and to learn to learn proper mechanics, the proper techniques, you have to be in a gi. I truly believe that. Or, you can do it, you can get away going no gi, but you're just not going to be as sharp. You're not going to be as aware as guys that grew up doing it in the gi the proper way. And doing it in the gi makes you so much better when you don't have a gi on. It makes you so much better. It's like training with a heavy pack on, and then you take that pack off and life's a lot easier. I would never allow my kids who, Tiger did jiu-jitsu for 4 years. And he's like, Dad, I want to be in a gi. I'm like, then you're not doing jiu-jitsu. You have to be in a gi. Everyone's different. There's ways to do it. There's guys who are very successful not training in a gi, but that's what I believe in.
And like with street fights, people are wearing clothes. So is that more like, actual
grips,
jacket, whatever.
Grips.
So, yeah.
Party Bus. Fan question. Most fighters trying to become triple champ go up in weight and fail. Could you see a world where Josh Hokit becomes heavyweight champ, goes down 2 divisions to grab their title as well? Seems possible to me with his frame. Agree. Hokit could do it at heavyweight, right? He's getting up there. At light heavyweight, he could do it with the right matchups. 85, it gets a little tough. Those guys are very, very talented. Very technical, very talented. And can Hokit cut down to 85 at his age now? But yet, to your point, he has the frame where we'll see it. There's a reason we haven't seen one, though. Very difficult. Very, very difficult. I actually think it's harder coming up and then going down opposed to going up, if that makes sense. Because the problem is the skill difference. The skill difference. And Hokit's getting away right now a lot just being the faster, more athletic guy at heavyweight. Now that diminishes when you go to 205. Now you're probably not going to be as fast as those guys. You're not going to be as technical as those guys. And then even more so, you go to 85. Those guys are even more talented, even more technical, even more faster. So things start to even out as Hokit's going down. It's going to be very, very challenging. D. Scott, fan question. Yo, Big Brown, yo, boy, D back again. Old school versus new school, part 2 of 3. I got one more for you. And this dude makes them long, too, so let's get into it. Break it down. Keep killing it. Thanks, dude. Also, Crocrop Schaub versus any version of Gun. I got you by first round submission, double leg, then Darce choke. Agree. Dude, 205, Ankalaev versus Rashad Evans. And the Rashad that KO'd Chuck, I'll take Rashad Evans. What's Ankalaev going to do to him? Where's he beat him? Number 2, 155, Max Holloway versus Frankie Edgar. BJ Penn decision, Frankie Edgar. Ooh, Max Holloway in his fucking prime. Buddy. Frankie would be a handful for him. Especially mixing up with the wrestling. Especially mixing it up. I'll take Frankie. Can you tell I'm biased as shit? 170, Islam versus GSP, Dan Hardy decision. He should have finished Dan Hardy, so not the best version of GSP, but I hear you. That's a different one. I actually think that'd be a boring fight. I think GSP would stay away from Islam and use his jab and beat him by decision. And Islam would have a tough time getting GSP down, and GSP wouldn't commit because of the takedown, and you'd get a boring 5-round decision from GSP. 185, Khamzat versus Bisping. Bisping beats Khamzat. Again, dude, I'm cut from this cloth, so it's fucking tough because I'm from that era. So I hold those guys in such high regard. I think it was a tougher time to be a fighter in those days. Bisping is basically Sean Strickland, but with better striking, meaning KO power, harder hitter, great cardio like Strickland, great takedown defense like Strickland. Does everything Strickland did, but was has more finishing capabilities than Strickland. Bisping beats the shit out of Khamzat in his prime. Number 5, dude, Josh Hokit versus Brendan Schaub. Crow Cop Brendan Schaub. That's a motherfucking fight. That's a fight. I'll say that. It'd be weird to pick myself, but I think Hokit would have a tough time with the jiu-jitsu and the right hand. But again, Hokit's a motherfucker, so I'll probably take Hokit, bud. But I'm also not going to engage in that back and forth brawl like Curtis Blades did. And I'd rely on my cardio. Great fight, though. Brent Talon. Fan question. I'm an amateur MMA fighter. I'm a late starter being 25 years old. I started late too, brother. I lost my first fight by split decision. Doesn't matter. I get wrestled. Fuck. Good. You learn from it. After 4 months of training, I'm now a year into training and going for my second fight. Love you, had a long layoff and got in the training room. July 11th coming up, brother. Good luck. You're fighting the same night as Conor. Good luck with that. How well will the experience and the extra training help me, or should I have taken fights in my 7-month training, 7-month off training? No, it depends. It depends how that first fight went. Like, how do you feel, man? Well, like, what were your strengths? I think now that you've had a year of training, it's time to get on the horn and see if it's for you. So you've had a year to dedicate yourself to training and get going. Let's take this fight July 11th, and then let's look for one in August, September, October, November, December. Get going, Bubba. Get going. But you're smart. They took time off, realized you needed to work on some stuff, got in the training room. So I wish you the best, man. Let us know how you do too, brother. Let us know. We're rooting for you July 11th.
Last one.
Also, July 11th, if you get done with your fight early, we'll be doing a watch along here on this channel, live watch along. So join in, bud, after your fight. Let us know how you did too. Join the super chat. Let us know how you did. Bobby Snuggles, great name. Let's play on Bobby Knuckles, but this is Bobby Snuggles. Fan question. After the Ilya loss, knowing how close the two brothers are, do you expect to see Alexandre begin his rise? That dude is so big for that division. He's so talented. Maybe they switch roles, and instead of Alex focus on Ilya, Ilya begins to focus on Alex while awaiting his return. I wouldn't be surprised if we see an absolute tear from Alexandre following his ass whooping his brother, possible aimed at Gaethje. Agree. And he's big, dude, and talented. I like your thinking. He's going to be a force, man. He's a fucking force. I think regardless, both of them need tougher training partners. I think that's a huge red flag. They need to bring in tougher competition for training. Is that it?
That's it.
All right, kids, enjoy your weekend. We're close. Next week is the Conor McGregor fight. We will be doing a live watch along right here on this very same channel. Join the super chat, join the brownies, join the Big Brown Breakdown Club. Watch it with me, comment. We're going to watch it together. It's going to be a grand old party. I'll be here with my Diet Cokes, so tune in. That's live next Saturday for the return of the Mystic Mac. Enjoy your weekend. The fight is coming. It's close. All right, kids. That's it. I'm Big Brown. I'm out.
When you're in a bind, you will find a new fight card to be broken down. And you can't fall asleep, 'cause he'll go balls deep on a card coming Saturday night. It's Big Brown, Big Brown, Big Brown Breakdown coming to your town. He's big and he's brown, the Big Brown Break.
Some of that was good.
Down.
Brendan Big Brown.
Yeah.